Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new. My name is Shelly and I am the owner and creator of the Vintage Hen and Chick. And in today's video, you are getting 3 thrift flips or trash to treasure projects. So if that's something that you're interested in, please make sure to subscribe to my channel so you get notified when I upload a new video, and let's get started. For project 1, I picked up this pair of candlesticks at a garage sale, and they are made out of a resin material, and so I thought that chalk paint would be a good option for this makeover. And for these candlesticks, I chose Dixie Belle chalk paint in the color Kudzu. This is one of my favorite shades of green by Dixie Belle. I like how it kind of is that farmhouse look, but not being too bright. So I'm going to start off by giving these candlesticks 2 good coats of paint to get everything covered, and then we're going to move on to the next step. So here are both candlesticks with 2 coats of the Kudzu paint, and because I used a chalk paint, it does need to be sealed. So for these candlesticks, I'm going to be sealing them with Dixie Belle's Best Dang Wax in the clear. So I'm going to take just an old chip brush, and I'm going to be using that to seal these with the wax. It's going to work the best because there's so many cracks and crevices on these candlesticks. So I'm getting a good amount of wax on my brush, and I'm going to start applying it to the candlesticks. And you'll notice that the wax is showing up as white. The clear wax by Dixie Belle shows up as white at first when you apply it, but then as it sits and as you buff it out, it will buff out to clear. So I'm going to give both candlesticks a good coat of the clear wax before we move on to the next step. So I've given both candlesticks a good coat of the clear wax, and you'll see that after it sat for a while, it went from white to clear. So now I'm just taking a soft cloth and buffing back the excess wax, trying to get as much as I can out of the cracks and crevices and all the grooves. But if I don't get it out of all of those grooves, it doesn't matter, because the next step that I'm going to do will actually get rid of anything that's left over inside of the cracks and crevices. So I'll continue to buff both the candlesticks, wiping back the excess wax, and then we will move on to the next step. Now, one of the reasons that I love these candlesticks is because they have so many grooves and so much detail. And I wanted to highlight this detail by using brown Dixie dirt. And Dixie dirt is a powder, and you just take it and you apply it with a brush when your wax is still a little bit tacky. So I'm just taking a brush and I'm dipping it in the dirt and applying it in all the grooves and the details, just kind of highlighting those areas with the dirt and making the candlestick look old and kind of grungy. So I'm going to continue to use my brush and applying the Dixie dirt in all the cracks and crevices and the grooves on the candlestick, and then we'll move on. Now I've applied all the Dixie dirt, and now I'm going to take a clean chip brush and go over the candlesticks and just brush away any of the excess Dixie dirt that I don't want to stay on the candlesticks. So I'll continue to do this, brushing away any excess Dixie dirt until I get the look that I want. I love how these candlesticks turned out. I love how the Dixie dirt just kind of highlighted all of the grooves and the details, and I like kind of that grungy, dirty look. And if you want to replicate this project, I do have all of the products that I use for this project available on my website at thevintagehenandchick.com if that's something that you're interested in. For project 2, I love finding these old silver teapots at garage sales and estate sales and thrift stores, and I like to take them and give them a makeover. So this teapot I'm going to paint, and then I'm going to apply a transfer and give it a total different look. And the paint that I'm going to use for this teapot is Dixie Belle chalk paint in the color French Linen. So I'm going to take the French Linen and I'm going to give it 2 good coats just to get a good coverage over the entire teapot. And I'm going to leave the feet and the spout and the handles and the top of the teapot out just to give it some contrast. And here is the teapot after 2 coats of the French Linen. And because I'm going to apply a transfer and this is kind of a slick surface, I'm going to seal the paint first. And for this I'm using Dixie Belle Clear Coat in the color Flat. So I'm going to take the clear coat and I'm going to coat all over the painted surface just to give my transfer something to grab onto. So I'm going to do that and then I'm going to let it thoroughly dry. So I gave the teapot a good top coat and now I'm going to apply transfers to it. And these transfers are Dixie Belle transfers from the Timeless Petals transfer pattern. So I'm going to figure out where I want my transfer to go. And then what I'll do is I'll peel off the transfer backing and position my transfer exactly where I want it to go. And because this is a round surface, I like to start from one side of the transfer and work my way over to the other side just to make it a little bit easier. And I take my time. Round surfaces can be a little bit trickier than flat surfaces. So I'm positioning my transfer exactly where I want it to go. and then I'm holding it down, and I'm going to take my transfer stick and start on the one side of the transfer and gently rub the transfer so it adheres to the teapot. So I'll continue to rub my transfer and then start lifting up the transfer vellum once the transfer is adhered to the teapot. And once the transfer is attached to the teapot, I'm going to take my fingers and press it down, and then I'm going to use the vellum from the transfer and rub it over the transfer, and this is burnishing it in. So it's making sure that it's firmly attached to the teapot and making sure that there are no more wrinkles or bumps. And then I'm going to clear coat the whole teapot. So I'm going to use the Dixie Belle clear coat in the flat again. And the transfer does need to be sealed in, so I'm going to give the teapot another good coat of the Dixie Belle flat clear coat, going over the entire painted surface again and the surface where the transfer is, making sure I get everything covered good. For project 3, I picked up this blue crate at a thrift store, and you can see that it was homemade and it has a child's name on the front. So I'm going to take the crate outside and give it a good sanding just to get the lettering sanded off, because it is raised and I don't want that to show up underneath my paint. So I'll take this outside, give it a scuff sand, sand off the lettering, and then we'll start painting. So here's the crate after I gave it a good scuff sanding and got rid of the letters. And I'm going to be painting this crate in Dixie Belle chalk paint in the color Kudzu. Again, this is one of my favorite shades of green in the chalk paint line. So I'm going to give this whole crate inside and outside, top and bottom, 2 good coats of the Kudzu paint. So here's the crate after 2 coats, and now I'm going to take some decoupage paper and apply it to the ends of the crate. And for this paper, I chose Vintage Wallpaper by Dixie Belle. And so I'm just going to apply it to both ends. I've already kind of pre-cut my piece of decoupage paper to fit the area. And for the decoupage medium, I'm going to be using the Dixie Belle clear coat in the flat. So I'm going to take the clear coat and I'm going to apply a good starter strip on the end of the crate, working my way from one end to the other, applying the clear coat, laying the decoupage paper down, and working from one end to the other. So I'm applying my clear coat here, and then I will lay the paper down, smooth it out, get rid of any wrinkles or bubbles, and then continue down until I have the decoupage paper applied to the side. So I've got my decoupage paper applied to both ends of the crate, and I let it dry overnight so it was thoroughly dry. And now I'm just taking my little finger sander and sanding off the excess decoupage paper around the crate. And pro tip for this is you need to wait until it's completely dry, otherwise you will rip your decoupage paper as you're sanding. So I'm going to continue doing that until I get it all cleared off. And now I'm going to take another transfer from the Timeless Petals transfer set, and I'm going to apply one on each side of the crate, the front and the back. And so I will take the transfer, position it where I want, and then start with my transfer stick again, gently rubbing the transfer down. And once I have the transfer rubbed down completely, then I will start lifting one end of the transfer vellum up as the transfer is adhered to the crate. And once it's adhered to the crate, I will use my fingers and the transfer vellum and rub it over the transfer, and this is called burnishing. So this is getting the transfer completely rubbed into the crate. And now the paint and the transfer and the decoupage paper needs to be sealed. So for this, I am going to use the Dixie Belle clear coat in the flat, and I'm going to seal the entire project, inside and outside, top and bottom. I do have all the products that I used in this video available on my website at thevintagehenandchick.com, and I'll leave those links in the description. So what did you guys think? What was your favorite project? Let me know in the comments below. I love them all, but I think my favorite were the candlesticks. I just love the combination of the green with the Dixie dirt and how it gave it kind of that grungy vintage feel. So if you are new here, I would love if you would consider hitting that subscribe button and setting the notification bell to all so that you get updated every time I upload a video. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day.